appearance. I'm not shaved. I need a haircut. But I'm out here getting set up right now. And thanks everybody for being here. Just kind of supplanted myself in the middle of town. Figured I'd get with you guys real quick for, a little talk before I start. Wow, I don't know about you guys, but I was super inspired today by that interview with Gary Yourofsky on George's channel. Wow. Hey, what's up, Drac? Nice to see you. So I'm getting my mic stuff set up here. And there's been a lot of activity today in the activism space. We had that interview. Hey, what's up, Clara? What's going on? Let's go, Clara. Nice to see you. How are you? Always love having you here, and everybody else that's here. Thanks for being here. But we have a lot of people here today, which is great. But yeah, so that was amazing. And then Chip was doing a live stream, and then later on, Jake Lagatari started doing a live stream. So he must have hit the threshold to go live, which is awesome. So he'll be out there living now in Gettysburg, which isn't too far away from me. It's a little bit of a wind element today. It's okay. Yeah, great to see everybody here. This is impromptu, so I got Saturday night coming where I'm going to be out in the town, either here or DC or who knows, maybe Baltimore, one of those big towns. One of these towns to go active. By the way, how's the sound? Sound good? But wow, what did you guys think of that? Come over to back. It's back? Okay. I destroyed it. Okay, it's back. Okay, good. What did you guys think of the talk with Gary today, with George? I thought that was amazing. I literally just saw it in my feed, and I was like, holy crap. Gary Yourofsky in the feed. And he's having a live interview with George. My buddy George from Carnism Debunked. I need to make this a little bit taller. That was so cool. So I was like, I wasn't gonna go out today. I was gonna kind of relax a little bit. But then I was like, shit, I gotta go out. That's inspiring. Gary was what inspired me to become vegan in general. All right, how's the sound, guys? About to get started here. What's up, guys? Probably should have brought sunglasses today. Make this a little straighter. There we go.
Hey, you want to come in the shade?
Now let's see where I can get me in the subject. So I'll be like right here, subject right here. Okay, sounds good. Oh, hi Marley. What's up? Clara says, how you doing? If you have any questions for Jimmy, please feel free. That's right, if you have any questions, let me know. What do you guys think of the title of this stream, by the way? Pretty cool, huh? Disgruntled vegan man out yelling at everybody. By the way, first off, I want to show everybody this book on B12. This is a book called The Enigma of B12, Nature's Only Mistake, that laments the genesis and historical beginnings of vitamin B12 and its discovery. It's written by Anthea V. Hayes, and it just kind of takes you down a rabbit hole of kind of factual findings where you learn about the fallacious discovery of said vitamin and how really it's not even a vitamin. It's basically something that was created in a Merck drug lab and very keenly, cleverly commercialized and sought out and shot out to the masses. It had kind of a double utility to get those people that were deemed deficient because they were vegan, and as a kind of a cure for pernicious anemia. So, and you'll read all about that in the book, but I definitely heavily recommend this book. You don't need B12. B12 by itself is a misnomer. It doesn't exist. It's something that was created in a Merck drug lab. And yeah, so let's get started here. How's it going, guys? Hi, everybody. How are you? Hi, guys. I kind of came up with some cool little sentiments to throw out there today, too. You guys want to try a quick interview on YouTube? You want to try? YouTube Live for 3 questions, 3 minutes, that's it. All right, so my name's James. What's your name?
Xavier Morris.
Xavier, I love that name. I love anything with an X. My daughter's name is Alex, and I was like, X is just a strong element for a name. Okay, my 3 questions are, the first one is, do you know what veganism is?
No, I don't.
Okay. So basically, a lot of people think it has to do with food, and it doesn't have to do with food. It's more so a stance against oppression, a stance against violence, and a stance against, right? I mean, that's essentially what it is. And the reason why it's kind of funny is because the whole collective, you and the 99% and me before, that was a kind of a far off kind of definition for us. We looked at food as more of a mellow definition, right? It's just a burger. Oh, it's just French fries. Oh, it's just food, right? So I would posit with the stance against violence. So the second question is, are you against animal abuse yourself?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like going out to a specific animal,
Okay.
but others, it's like I eat it, so it's like no. But then when we get to the dog area, and, the pets, it's
and that's kind of what I'm framing out. Like, if I had a dog right here, and I was kicking the dog, you'd kick my ass, probably. You wouldn't like that, right?
Yeah, no.
Especially if it was your dog. I'm protective as hell over my cats. I would go to battle for my cats. I would, I'd probably choose my cats over humans, honestly. But since you're against that, your reflexes and your kind of automata, your heart, your values and your morals they're vegan, right? But when we go to the grocery store and we pay for meat or cheese or milk and eggs, we are in essence distorting our own values, because we're paying for systems where inherently violence is a huge part of it, and inherently oppression is a huge part of it. And we're saying, yes, I want that to be the change I see in the world every time we do that. What do you think about that?
I think I understand where you're coming from, killing chickens and stuff.
Yeah, or cows.
Yeah, or cows or whatever.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I see the other side of it. When other people are arguing on it, it's predators when they're just eating their prey.
Yeah.
Not because to be malicious or anything.
Yeah, because it's instinct,
Yeah,
right?
it's just instinct. You gotta survive and stuff.
Yes.
I know we can survive off of veganism, like you say.
Yeah, that's a great knowing, a great start to.
Yeah, I feel like some people though, in order to be your best self or feel like your best,
Yeah.
it's more fulfilling for them to eat meat. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and I get that. And for 400 generations or 10,000 years, that's when herding culture began. We've all kind of been taught to feel that and think that, right? It kind of trickles into athletics, trickles into weightlifting, trickles into anything physical. You have to have this X factor. We can't name it, but we just know it's in meat. This X factor that allows us to be our athletic best, our best mentally, physically, spiritually, and healthily, right? But I mean, just anecdotes, I've been vegan 12 years, right? And I lift and I distance run. Yesterday I did about 7 miles. I do between 5 and 7, 7 to 9 per my runs, right? And I'm only better since I've been vegan. If you watch the movie Game Changers on Netflix, you'll see all these guys. I mean, these guys are giant guys. Like Nima Delgado, he's a bodybuilder. You got guys like Hench Herbivore, Paul Curtin, he's in there. I think he has a brief part in there. You got guys like Patrick Baboubian, these big dudes that are lifting tons of weight that just show you and just shatter all that craziness that says you can't be athletic on a vegan diet, right? But going back to your first point, I would say this: should we base our behaviors, what we do, off of what animals do in the wild? For say, if they eat other animals? I know it's tough.
Yeah, it's like,
Because it's like they do all kinds of stuff. They rape each other. They commit infanticide. They rip off each other's genitals. You're like, if we were to do that, it would be a complete, it'd be a mess out here.
it's like to a degree we should, but then we shouldn't, because I feel like we're a higher species than them.
I love that you
it's
said
like-
that. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
There's a great quote from Spider-Man, and it's, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So we are the great power. We have moral agency. We have this ability to say and be a guardian and a protector, instead of like a lion who instinctively, has to do this for its instinctive survival, right? We have the power in our hands to say, no, I will not vote for oppression. No, I will not vote for violence. No, I will not vote for these systems anymore. And I'm done being a lab rat for these guys that make all the money off of it. And that's essentially, to the crux of it, what veganism is. So people always come up to me and they say, it's food. It's about food. It's about not eating meat. It's about not eating secretions. But that's what we've been taught by the same control narratives that are forcing us and telling us to eat meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. So the whole challenge is, and the whole kind of crux of this experiment, or this thought kind of dynamic, is to educate and illuminate to everybody that it has to do with ethics and your values. And this is what we take with us when we go take the great ride, right? We're only here for a few decades, so it's something to be an example with, something to lead with, and something to exemplify. What do you think about all this? This is a lot to hear, I know, and I appreciate you having the bravery to stop by.
Yeah.
Do you think we need anything nutritionally from an animal?
Protein.
Okay.
I think we need protein.
Okay. So many loud cars here today. It's like,
I don't know all the specifics, like science and stuff, because I don't really know all that. I just know protein. But then also, it's like, for me, like, God kind of created, God created like animals and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, but even in the garden, I'm not sure if they ate animals or not.
Great point, because as far as I know, the Garden of Eden was vegan. Like, they even call it the Garden of Vegan in some circles, because it was all peaceful and benevolent. There was no bloodshed, right?
Yeah. But then, like, when they went out and got kicked out and stuff, I think that's
the game
when,
changed. Yeah.
I think that's when they.
I was listening to a beautiful interview today from one of my heroes, and he was talking about Christianity and veganism. And so, I think we're doing a disservice to God when we eat animals, because God created these as his babies as well. He created them with pain sensors, eyes to see, noses to smell. And it's kind of like, when we use the Bible to justify that, we're saying that God's not compassionate. And it's not up for debate. That's exactly what we're saying. We're saying God is not compassionate, and he would want to see this happen, even in our historical context, where we need nothing of it for anything nutrition in 2025. And that's how I would posture back to that. I would just think of compassion in the word compassion. Moving forward, I have some cards. I don't know if you'd like to take one, but it's got some stuff on it, right? There's a speech on here from the guy that turned me vegan. His name is Gary Yourofsky, and this is a speech he did in 2012, and it turned me vegan 12 years ago. I had to watch it twice, though, because I was so inertia against it. I didn't want to hear anything about that. And that's another thing that's built in our kind of cerebrosphere by these same guys that are making money off of us. This inertia, this stubbornness to accept that, the vegan really is the way. And it's not a cult, it's not a religion, it's just the golden rule. That's it. But what was your name, man?
Xavier Morris.
It's some stuff to think about. Do you think after our conversation you'll think about this more?
No, definitely. I have thought about it in the past. I just
Let's go.
Gone into the details and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think I have done before. I have done before in the past where I want to become healthier, so I do I take a break from meat and stuff and go vegan, fasting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And only eating fruits, and
that's the
people
move.
do that.
Health is a bonus.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I gotta come back after to eat meat.
I got you. Trust me, I get you. I was not vegan for 30 years. But once that why becomes strong enough, the how, boom, it's so easy. The why just has to be strong enough. I'll leave you with that, man. Thanks for stopping by, having the guts to have the interview. Thank you, sir. Have a good one. But check out the card for sure. There's some good resources on there for sure. Hi, guys. All right, welcome to the stream if you're just getting here. I'm out here kind of impromptu today. I wasn't going to come out here, but then I turned on my computer and saw a speech with Gary Yourofsky and George Martin. I'm like, gotta go, gotta saddle up, gotta go. So let's see if we can get some more combos out here, put people a little bit on the spot, you know, but in a healthy way, in a healthy way. But as you notice from like all the live outreachers that you see, I mean, there's me, there's Jake, there's Chip, there's Alexandra, Haas, Justin. You know, the truth, it ain't gonna move. It's just gonna stay here. It's just gonna stay here until things change. So, I mean, the sign says, why aren't you vegan yet? 3 quick questions. Hi, guys. You guys wanna try a few questions for?
Aren't you vegan? Yes, we are.
You are? Oh my, let's go. Vegan family? Let's go. What did you see? Did you see Gary's speech? What did you see that made you go vegan?
I'm a zoologist,
So you just saw the raw happenings. Understood. That's it. That'll do it, right? That's even more potent. Well, that's amazing. Well, thanks so much, guys. Have a beautiful vegan day. Take care, everybody. Oh, that's awesome. So that whole family's vegan because the daughter she's a zoologist, and the things she saw while being a zoologist motivated her to go vegan. How cool is that? What's going on, guys? You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube? Test your values out a little bit? All right, have a good day, guys. I think I got some new ones too, some new little clickbaities. Welcome. I can't really see the chat too much. Atira's in the house. How are you? The funny thing is, someone just said, respect your opinion. There's no opinion here. This is an absolute binary thing. You're either supporting systems of violence directly, or you're directly supporting systems of benevolence. And we're not painting this as perfection. We're painting this as those are the 2 choices. You're not going to get to peace voting for direct violence. Yeah, so thanks for being here, guys. And like I was saying before, how many we got here? Oh, we got 52 of you in here. Okay, so what I was saying before, like, you'll never see somebody that is you'll never see, like, you know, you're only going to see vegans out here doing this. You're only going to see us. Because every single person, regarding, you know, if they say it or they admit it or not, we all know, 100% of us know, at a place deep, deep down and deeply recessed in us, that killing beings is wrong. We know that, right? But it's just been so cleverly clouded and manipulated by certain narratives in control. What's going on, guys? Try a few questions for YouTube. Why aren't you vegan yet? Not being vegan is not being nice. Not being vegan is not being nice. It's gonna be our little quirky thing to float. Someone says, I'm really craving a burger. Well, that's nice. Hey, but that conversation with Xavier was solid, huh? Xavier, you're a legend if you're watching. Thanks for sticking by. Thanks for listening. I can tell you're vegan at heart, and I can tell you're going vegan, man. How's it going, buddy? We'll try a few questions for YouTube. All right, not being vegan is not being nice. That's how we're gonna do that. Hi, guys. You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube Live?
Sure.
Okay, it's YouTube Live, so it's just like a little quick, quirky thought experiment. You can leave whatever you want.
How many viewers you got?
I don't know, probably like 75 right now. We got 70 in there right now, so we started not so long ago. But it's a really simple posturing of 3 questions, right? And it's just to make you think a little bit. The first one is, oh, by the way, what's your name?
Luke.
Luke, okay, so I'm James. So the first one is, what do you think veganism is?
Not eating animal-based foods.
Yes, okay, and that is definitely the consensus answer, is not eating things from animals or animals, etc., right? I'm here to blow your mind, and I'm telling you that's not the definition. And I'm telling everybody that today. So the definition of veganism is very simple. It's a golden rule approach in having a stance against violence. That's it. That's it. And how we measure that is with what we vote for with our dollar, right? So your energy is your dollar, right?
Sure.
In all effective purposes, our energy is our dollar. That's what we work for, that's what we get, and that's what we go to the cash register and we say, here you go, that's the change I want to see in the world. Because we vote for the holistic picture, not just the single unit we seemingly receive, right? Okay, second question, are you against animal abuse?
Yes.
But you are. If you saw me with an animal or with a dog and I was like abusing it, you would defend it, right?
Yeah, probably.
Then you're vegan because your heart is already vegan. Your actions just don't reflect that if you're not vegan. So we're here to kind of point out the simple distortion and to get people thinking a little bit, because you're not going to see this kind of dynamic on mainstream channels, right?
Sure.
So what's the biggest thing stopping you from being vegan? And I like to piggyback a fourth one. Do you think we need anything nutritionally from an animal? A lot of people do.
I like to, yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
I like to eat meat.
Well, you like the taste. Okay, I get it. You like the taste. But like nutritionally, do you think we need anything?
Yes, I think it's healthy to eat meat and animal products.
What in it, though, specifically?
Protein, fats.
Okay. Are there any essential aminos we cannot get from a vegan diet?
Not that I want to try out, but...
Gotcha. Well, you don't need, you get it all from an orange. You open an orange, you get all 9 essential aminos. Boom, just like that. Of course, you want to consume varying amounts and you want to have enough calories, but full stop, that's it. I don't take vitamins or supplements. I don't need that crap. I'm vegan 12 years. My daughter, same thing, right? But I would challenge you with the taste part. Do you think the taste of a being is more important than, say, that animal's like time horizon, their sovereignty, their purpose, and their life? That's a loaded one, and I know it's tough.
I don't know. I know there's a lot of stuff going on with non-animal based products as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Unethical.
unethical.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
And I was just telling them nothing's perfect. But this is where the full stop comes. It's very binary in this sense. When you buy meat, cheese, milk, or eggs, there's a binary situation. You're either voting for direct violence or you're not voting for direct violence. And we're not going to get to that peaceful utopia nirvana when everybody's voting for direct violence. That makes sense, right?
Sure.
You're going to have peripheral happenings, moles, foxes, you name it. I've heard all the excuses in the book, but this comes from a very disingenuous place, unfortunately. People like to use this and throw this up in the air, but this isn't, has any degree of validity because the person themselves is still voting for direct violence. So can't you see the hypocrisy with that
Yeah, sure.
kind of dynamic? What would stop you from going vegan? Is it taste?
Yeah, I just don't really want to. I enjoy eating
Yeah.
meat.
Okay.
And it makes me feel good, so.
Okay, well, I mean, it's tough. I can't really go much farther with you if that's what you think. But I would challenge you to consider the victims. I would challenge you to consider your own values, because we're going around and we show our values by our actions, right? So are we guardians or protectors, or are we bullies? We have to ask ourselves that. And this is something to lead with example for our kids, our children, our friends, our family, our parents. These are big questions to steep with. I mean, I love meat too, but I can find the vegan version of, I just realized not too long ago that taking somebody's whole time horizon, it's just not, it's not balanced, If I gave you a card, would you look at the resources?
Probably not, honestly.
Hey, I appreciate the candor. I'll let you go.
Awesome.
My name's Jim. Thank you very much. You guys, hopefully you heard a little bit. Maybe you both can think about it a little bit.
I strictly don't eat fish.
Okay.
Eliminating
Right on. Just think about the victim's perspective. That's that.
Don't, I know it kills me so sad.
Right on. You guys have a great day. I was going to say have a great vegan day, but I don't think that's remotely going to happen. Anyway, this is how we do it, guys. We're going to put a little bit of limelight on everybody. Hi, guys. Try a few quick questions for YouTube. Not being vegans, not being nice, everybody. It's tough to hear. But if you're just getting here, like and subscribe. I'll be out here talking to the public for probably another 40 minutes or so. What's my time looking like right now? Because I can't even tell you. The glare is so strong. Anyway, hey, he was a good sport. Stopped by, talked. We had a nice dynamic. And even if nothing was happening there, you know what the cool thing is, guys? The optics. Like, I'm literally there with a sign that says, "Why aren't you vegan yet?" And I'm having an interview with somebody. These are, you guys want to try? 3 questions, test your values. Ooh, they're laughing. The optics are part of the cacophony of this live outreach. And there's so many good things that come out of live outreach. You have holding a sign that says vegan, putting the elephant in the room on display. You have the actual talking to people, real-time organic conversations. You have the optics of it, me holding this sign and then talking to somebody interview style with a microphone. This is gonna make people think. And just think right now, there's only a few of us that are out there. Wait till we double that, and then we triple that, quadruple that. Very compelling to think about. I'm just so happy I saw Gary Yourofsky today. My hero, made me go vegan 12 years ago. Also, this is for everybody as well. It's a book. I want everybody to check it out. It's called The Enigma of B12, Nature's Only Mistake. And it's by Anthea V. Hayes. She talks, well, in 2017, she started doing research for the book. And she kind of went down the rabbit hole as far as history and the various forms of literature, resource, to actually vet out and find the very cloudy history that is directly hidden, not directly, but maybe directly, but very well seemingly hidden by certain interest groups. And she, in the book, she tells you about the history of vitamin B12. For instance, here's a fun fact about it. Did you know that vitamin B12 was named just off of a whim, kind of impulsively? There was, I can't remember his name, but there was a biochemist, I think his first name was George, and his last name escapes me, but he had been doing research on chickens in the field of poultry husbandry. And he had found some growth factors in chickens that he thought were very markably important. So he called those growth factors B10 and B11. That's what he called those. And he happened to be in kind of, I guess, communication with Carl Volkers at the time, who was kind of like one of the unofficial discoverers of vitamin B12. And Carl was working on a certain bacteria initially derived from cow's liver and manure, and he had found certain markedly informative type elements. So George goes up to Carl and says, hey, you know what? Just call it vitamin B12, because it gives it the status of a vitamin and the all seemingly importance of its utility. And it's simple and it follows suit with mine. So just call it vitamin B12. And you know what? He did. Just kind of off of something so subtle. Think about the implications of the genesis of said vitamin there. Do you think that gives something credence, hearing that, about its historical backdrop? Hi, guys. Or that kind of nullifies its credence? Because I'm going to go with the latter. Anyway, the book, it's called The Enigma of Vitamin B12, Nature's Only Mistake, written by Anthea V. Hayes. Recommend it to everybody. I know you're going to be reflexively against all of this. Even I had some doubt. Of course I had doubt. I had a lot of doubt, actually. But I think it's important to be mindful that we have to have open minds when receiving and adopting and considering information factual. You can't just look at the science. Something about material science, or science as we know it, you can't just reference that as an all-knowing, all-powerful, objective reference. Here's a question for you. Is science funded? Think about that. Is science funded? The answer will illuminate all you need to know about taking your information from science. All right, let's try to get some people here. Hi, guys. You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube? Have a good day, guys. Okay, what do we got? I can't even tell how much time I'm on. About 30 minutes? Okay, I got 30 more minutes. I really can't read too much, guys. But we got a few of you in here, so that's a plus. I see we got some religious people in the chat. That's cool. What's going on, guys? We'll try a few questions for YouTube. Not being vegans, not being nice. Have a good day, guys. And we're just going to kind of float those little sentiments as well, because that's what needs to be done. Unfortunately, it's come to this. We need to get people thinking a little bit. People are not going to think when they remain comfortable. Keep going. Hey there. I wish I could see who's in here, because I really can't. But I love you all. Thanks for being here. We've had 2 conversations, one good one, one interesting one. I won't say bad one because there's never, whenever something like this is happening in general, it's just a net positive for veganism. Anything. We were, I think the more mud on the wall as far as awareness and things along those lines, that's what needs to happen. More mud on the wall, more awareness. Really simple dynamic. We're not going to be helping anybody if nobody's aware of what they're doing. And good people will change. Hi guys. You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube? Okay, have a good day. I mean, I'm going to be getting some sun in these next few days, I'll tell you that. What's going on, guys? A few questions for YouTube. Not being vegan is not being nice. Have a good one. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I went for a run yesterday, 6.5 miles. Getting back out there, and I'm wondering today if I should compound my skin situation with coming out here. Try not to use any kind of sunscreen unless it's absolutely dire. All right, maybe we'll get this guy. I feel like I've seen this. I feel like I've talked to this guy coming up here. What's going on, buddy? I think I recognize that guy. Maybe he's ignoring me now. Anyway, we're out here with a sign, and we're just kind of challenging the collective a little bit in a public space, having a lot of fun. And to anybody watching, hang on. Hey, what's going on, buddy? That is kind of like, oh my God, what's this guy doing? You know, is he attacking me? Is he trying to attack me? The answer is no. I'm attacking the argument. I'm attacking the actions. I'm not attacking the person. Unfortunately, all the leverage is in industry's hands as far as mainstream education, information, things along those lines. Hi, guys. So this is a direct attack against the argument, which has festered down from herding culture since the beginning of space and time, seemingly. It's an attack against the argument. Hi, guys. See if we can get another solid conversation in here. I think the framing was good on both those, right? I'm getting better at framing things, thank God. Hi, guys. You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube? Anybody? Just testing values today. What's going on, buddy? What's going on, guys? What do you guys think about that, though? Not being vegans, not being nice? It might make people think a little bit, and maybe, who knows, ruffle them up to come over here. But then, of course, this is a friendly dynamic where we friendly educate people. It's nobody's fault. It is zero. I mean, I don't consider it being my fault that I wasn't vegan for 30 years. I just didn't know. But we have to send the strong message to let them know and do it in their honor so they can, so our fellow human beings can make choices aligned with their values. That's all it is. If we have to use clickbait, well, God darn it, we're gonna lever that utility. Real-time clickbait. Hi, guys. You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube? Just testing values. Have a good day, guys. Saturday night, I'll either be in DC or I'll be here again. It all depends. Hi there. You want to try a few questions for YouTube? Sure. All right. Have a great day. But yeah, and we can all do this, and we can all have our certain styles, right? That's one thing I kind of touched on in me and Haas Vegan's interview we did Sunday, was we can all have our different styles. And we're all going to have our different styles because we're all different in our own unique ways, right? Like, I like to say hi to everybody. I like to kind of peacock a little bit with, the activity over here. Hi guys. You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube? All right, just testing values today. Good one. We all have our own styles. Like, I like to be gregarious. I'm kind of loud sometimes. And other people are going to have more quieter styles, and that's amazing too. And any style of doing live outreach is a massive net positive for veganism. Any style. We just need more of us coming out and doing this. Like Wayne Singh said, I guess not too long ago, we have enough vegans to win right now, but nobody's coming out and doing this, or doing activism, or other kinds of activism. We need more activists. I just happen to think this is a very effective tool. It could be very compelling if we keep sprouting these up all over the place, right? Someone said, who here likes KFC? Well, the chickens don't like KFC, that's for sure. Taking away their whole sovereignty, their purposes, their lives for a yum-yum. Also not very macho or manly, a very cowardly act in its essence. Small move. Oh, we have a little duck here. Little duck bringing the support. Hey, buddy. But yeah, thanks everybody for being here. If you like this kind of outreach, please like and subscribe. And yeah, look for more videos, more lives like this. This is kind of impromptu because I wasn't going to do anything today, but then I saw Gary Yourofsky and George Martin talking, and I instantly got up, got ready, got the gear ready. Hi, guys. You guys want to try a few questions? Just test your values? Have a good day, guys. But how's it going, everybody? Hi, guys. You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube? Why aren't you vegan yet? Just testing values today, that's it. Simple. Have a good one, guys. Hard no. But yeah, I was hoping this would be a big summer of outreach, and it looks like there are more of us coming out and more of us speaking up for the animals, and in this format as well. I was just in Jake's live, Jake Lagateri. Go like and subscribe to his page not too long ago, and he was doing some great outreach. I mean, it's legendary. He's just standing there, bringing people over, starting the conversation. I absolutely love that. We can use any kind of utilities or thoughts or creativity that we have just to get these conversations going. You guys want to try a few questions? All right, not being vegan is not being nice. Have a good one. Hi there. Anyway. You guys think I should move locations, maybe to a busier locale? I do have to check my time real quick, sorry. Because I do have, of course, this metered situation going on. Hold that thought. Okay, I can see a little better now. 38 minutes, I got 22 minutes. 22 minutes, okay, that's pretty good. I want one more solid convo. That's what I want. One more solid conversation. I mean, other than that, even if you're out here not having any conversations, but you're still presenting the platform, damn, huge net positive for veganism, huge net positive for the animals. And even if you get a guy like my last guy, who was literally kind of being contentious, a little combative, a little, I don't know, filibustery. What's going on, man? How are you? You want to try a few questions for YouTube? YouTube Live. All right, have a good one, man. Even if you are having somebody that's very combative, it's great because we're presenting the optic of this conversation seemingly themed on veganism. That's what the person's going to think walking by. And somebody kind of being put seemingly on the spot via a microphone. Like I said, you'll never see this happen with anybody other than vegan activists. You won't see any kind of omnivore activism or carnism activism, because everyone, unless it's some kind of satire, some kind of joke, because everybody knows in their hearts that killing beings is wrong. How you doing? You want to try a few questions for YouTube? Put you on the spot a little bit? All right. Have a good one. Anyway, thanks guys for showing me up for support. Oh yeah, check out me and Haas Vegan's live stream we did Sunday too. I think we had a nice conversation about outreach, bounced some stuff off each other. Hi guys. Anybody want to try 3 questions for YouTube? Just test your values out a little bit. Not a crazy amount of people today. But yeah, we were talking also about like the signage, like, and how it makes a difference. And I think there's some good stuff to deep dive into there. And I think in general, just the more formatted outreach like this that's out there and is happening directly equivalates to a stronger net positive for the animals. Because as we increase presence in these formats, people will start thinking critically. They'll feel more obliged to start thinking critically. And whether they know it or not, it is in the spirit of love for humans as well. It's just a fact. Okay, I know these guys want to talk. I'm gonna do my best to get them over here, guys, okay? You guys want to try a few questions for YouTube?
You know what? Why not?
Yes, I knew it. I was telling them. I bet you these guys will say hi. Okay, cool. My name's James. This is my YouTube live. What are your names?
My name is Clint.
Clint? Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. What about yours?
I'm Owen.
Oh, I love those names. All right, so I just asked people a few questions. It's just 3, right? Simple.
Okay.
The first one is, what is veganism to you guys? Do you guys have a definition that you think it is?
Yeah. So at least to my understanding, is people who don't eat meat because they have a moral objection to the killing of animals.
Yeah, damn. Probably the most accurate definition I've got today. How about you?
I just think about it scientifically, avoiding animal products to, keep animals free. Science.
Okay, gotcha.
Science.
Which is also kind of piggybacks on his sentiment too.
Yeah.
So there's an ethical underpinning, right? So yeah, I've been telling everybody today that it has nothing to do with food, right? It's more so this just cut and dry, simple stance against violence. It's not about perfection, because nothing is. But it is doing one's best, and it is a stance against violence, right? So my second question is, are you guys for or against animal abuse?
Well, obviously, yes.
I would hope so.
No, I love her. No.
No.
No,
Okay,
no.
yeah, right. Obviously, what are people gonna answer with that? I've only had one that actually thought about it, and I was like, okay, I think we should part ways. But that right there, your reflexive automata, just boom. Of course, I'm against it. That laments and illuminates your vegan heart that you already have, right? So we're going around and voting for these systems. Any system that votes for meat or cheese or milk or eggs, it's coupled by concrete, nature that there's inherent violence, because the being is seen as an object for profit, not a being with awareness for love, right? So the third question is, why aren't you vegan yet? Because you are vegan at heart. So what would stop you action-wise from being vegan?
I'll tell it this way. I mean, I know I've looked into it. I know that there's a lot of you can get your ample supplements from it, but in the end, I enjoy the taste of meat, and
I gotcha.
It's really it's the natural way. I mean, animals eat meat. It's just gonna happen that way. And I mean, I worked on a dairy farm for 3 years.
Okay.
Those cows were treated some of the best out of any animals I've
From what you saw, yeah.
I mean, well, I was there.
Not 24/7.
Pretty much. I mean, I was there quite often.
Yeah.
So I know how those cows were treated. They were all very happy, and I can tell you that up until the end of their lives, I mean, those dairy cows weren't in any pain or anything. And I mean, the bulls that did get sent off for meat, it was. Yeah. I mean, sure, they got killed, but it was pretty humane. They didn't feel nothing.
What do you think about the words humane and kill in the same sentence?
I mean, there's humane ways to kill things, and there's not humane way to kill
Right,
things.
but not humans, right? Like you wouldn't put yourself in that position.
I mean, no, I wouldn't put myself in that
Yeah.
position. I mean, humans are on a little bit of a different level, I think.
So and that's a great, that leads me to my next question. Do you think we need anything nutritionally from eating animals?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of important things: fats, proteins. There's a handful of things.
Which ones specifically, though?
I mean, it really depends on what you're eating. If you're eating a lean meat, more fatty meat, I mean,
Okay.
Fish
You're-
is pretty good.
Yeah.
Omega-3s, I like fish.
Omega-3s?
Yep.
Oh, you can also get that from chia, flax, walnuts. Plus, if you really want, I don't take vitamins or supplements, but you can take an allergy pill as well. What essential aminos can you not get from a vegan diet?
you know, honestly, I haven't done enough research.
Right?
So
Right. No, and I
wouldn't
appreciate the
know.
candor. I appreciate the candor. You can get it all. From an orange, has all 9 of them. An orange. There's a few outliers out there that don't have every single essential amino, but we're talking 1 in 10,000. So it kind of leaves us, though, looming with these stark implications. Yeah, it looks seemingly like nothing really bad's happening to these dairy cows. Yeah, they're being killed humanely. But what if we took the positioning of guarding them instead of bullying them and treating them like objects or, taste, pleasure, utility? What if we said, let's just leave them alone and let's find the things, and you can find them, trust me. I can find the vegan version of meat, cheese, milk, or eggs. I can help you in a split second find those things, and they taste the same and they're healthier. It's just a win-win. But what do you say to that question that just looms? Why are we doing this to them if we don't need it nutritionally?
Well, I mean, if you look at it this way, right? A dairy farm operates on the principle that the cows are going to breed anyway, and when they have their calves,
Yeah.
they're going to produce the
Because
milk.
they're force bred into existence initially, right?
Well, not all dairy farms operate on that manner. A lot of them, especially out west where they've got large
Say
pastures.
95%. Yeah.
I don't know
But
about
you think
that.
they're just
but-
naturally having?
Well, yeah, out in the large pastures in the Midwest or western states, these very large pastures, they really don't control the cows. They let them kind of go as they do, and then the cows will actually come to the places where they get milked because the calves don't drink at all, and then it's very painful for them to have a full udder.
Yeah.
And they need the relief.
Okay. Here's the big question: are the cows consenting to any of this?
I mean, in essence, I don't think they can consent. They don't have that higher order of.
Exactly. What do we have as humans? We have agency, right? So we have this kind of like from the movie Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. We have moral agency, and they, on the second hand, have no way to consent. They just have to be a victim of the might is right mentality. So it kind of has to do with, are you familiar with, agency, moral agency?
Yeah.
So have you heard of moral patience? So an animal would be a moral patient, right? At our mercy, right? So the dynamic still holds no matter all the stuff we've covered. At the end of the day, if we don't need it nutritionally, we're basically saying your body, my choice to somebody else. And we're living that value, exemplifying that value, teaching all our friends and family that that value is okay. And that's what we stand for in our fleeting decades here on Earth. What do you think about that?
I mean, it comes with a stance of time, as you were just saying. I mean, animals can produce and reproduce, faster than crops. They're a little less selective about the environments they need. I mean, if you have a crop in the dead of winter, it might die.
Yeah.
If you have a couple cows, as long as they have at least some shelter from trees and ample food, they're going to live and they're going to be able to provide that nutrients, whereas a crop is going to die and you're going to have a very hard time reviving it until it becomes warmer.
Do you know the energy conversion ratio of cows, like as far as their input versus output?
Honestly,
It's very inefficient, right? Like you take 8 units of energy, you give that to a cow, they're going to output 1 unit. So look at it in that distorted kind of efficiency lens, right?
I mean-
So you purpose all that land out for plants. You're going to yield a lot more plants and a lot more calories and a lot more food. But right now what we're doing is kind of following the archaic practices of animal husbandry and herding culture, which are archaic and are just savage beyond belief. And we're just saying, you know what, it's all worth it because it tastes good. But the examples we're setting in our daily lives are we're telling our kids, violence is okay, oppression's okay, shit, rape's okay, because these cows are raped. They have a farmer put their hand in the anus, hold down the cervix, pump in the semen, and then baby gets born, steal the baby, cull the mom after 4 or 5 more rapes. She's cheap meat. These are the things we're saying I want to see more of in the world. Whether or not we can paint it in this kind of utopian descript with Kenny G and bunny rabbits and bedspreads and rubbing their shoulders and fostering heat so they can, have sex and have babies. It's the outlier case in essence. would you consider thinking about vegan options? Would you consider making the change to go vegan if your heart told you that why was strong enough?
I personally don't like, obviously, there's facilities that just mass produce these things and they're
Yeah.
not treated right, which is why.
And everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, yeah.
When I see it, I'd like to err on the side of, going more local, because
Yeah.
like there's lots of big businesses that are just in it for the money. They don't care about how the cows feel.
Yeah.
But I've
yeah.
seen local businesses that actually they do really well and they treat them right, and then they
Here, before
only,
you go, here's 2 cards, guys. Yes, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go on.
Good. They only like take the cows for meat when they're ready to die or they're
Yeah.
going. Just making
Well,
making use of them like a human with organs.
Well, cows, do you know how long cows can live too, like in general? I guess
I couldn't give you a confident answer.
solid 20 to 25, right? But we're taking them at how old? 18 to 24 months. So they're vulnerable, childlike beings. They're very small. They might be big, but they're very small as far as their experience on this beautiful world, right? And even if we can give them all that great whatever you just depicted there, yeah, it's an uptick from factory farming, but you're still slitting their throat wide open for an arbitrary reason and we don't even need anymore. So that's what these thought experiments are all about. They're just to get you to think a little bit. And the resources help you nutritionally if you have any questions about that. But, vegan outreach is what I'm doing right now, this live type of outreach. And this is what we have to do because everything else is bought out by mainstream channels. There's no money in veganism, zero, because there's no money to be made in veganism. So we're just out here, I don't get paid for this, on our own volition, trying to help people see the truth. It's all in the spirit of love to help you make better decisions for your body, for your family, and then also for these beautiful creatures we share the world with. What other questions you guys got for me?
Well, I have more of a statement here.
Or posturings.
It's more just
Yeah.
like, know where your food comes from anyway.
100%.
I mean, a lot of this vegan stuff, it is over-engineered.
You don't have to eat that stuff.
I know. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it's a good thing to know where your food comes from in any case.
100%. Yeah, I have a friend, he has a veganic food forest. We can all try to get to that level where, or we can all try to get to that vertical food farming, or vertical indoor farming, where that's kind of like one of the end of, effects of this kind of activism, right? But we got to start by at least not voting for direct exploitation of beings, because the beings part and killing them part, that needs to go. This is like ground zero. This whole conversation is moot if we're not even considering taking these animals out of the equation. Like we can give lip service, we can say I like this, I like that, but if we're acting out of this like objective happening of taking this being's life, who has the time horizon, who has a purpose, who has sovereignty, but we're just saying, nope, your body, my choice, my taste is more important than your life, all these other things without even really knowing we're saying that. A lot of it's, we're just unconscious, we're just following orders from these control narratives that have got us, since herding culture began. So yeah, of course, know where your food comes from, right? Yeah. But you can do that in the plant-based version, like in the plant-based space as well. So that's what I'll leave you guys with, to like steep with these things, to think about these things, and it takes guts to just come over. You're the third group of people to come over and talk to me, so I love conversing. And that right there, there's a speech on that card, and on the other side, and that speech turned me vegan 12 years ago. I heard this message, and I said, fuck that guy, when I first heard it. That was my first reaction. Fuck that guy. And then I went home, I complained to my now wife, I complained to everybody, and just basically called him a righteous piece of work, and he thinks he did. And then I watched it again a week later, and let me tell you something. The truth doesn't move. That's one thing about the truth. It won't move. It's just going to stay where it is. It's not going to move. That's what I'll leave you guys with. Last words?
I've listened.
Guys, I feel like Owen's pretty. It does take an open mind, right? These blinders that have been put on our faces, they're put on nice and tight. Industry has got them locked, baby. And they have got it to where you will feel so much inertia to even potentially entertaining the idea of taking meat off the table. But these blinders are not put on by anybody that has your best motives in mind. They're put on by control narratives, like literally the 1% of the 1% that control all the wealth. Because animal husbandry is one of the biggest monetary engines that exist and has ever existed. And they are counting on you not to change. So get mad, that's all I can say. I mean, you get angry, because it's against you too, the following of these kind of orders. Clinton, Owen, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for listening and having the guts to listen. And I wish you guys a great vegan day. Check out the resources. And, I love you guys, man. I'm here for humans too. That's why I'm here.
here for humans, look out the energy input and output of cars and stuff.
Oh, that's another big thing.
One of these is only about 15% as efficient as the
of electrics.
gas that's put
Oh,
into it. No, not electric. Electrics are even worse.
Yeah.
Huge fields in Africa for the lithium mines. I mean, it's a humanitarian crisis.
I believe it. I believe it. And that's all a product of this kind of might is right mentality, which herding culture began. That's the root. The root all goes down to seeing beings as objects and not. And that's why we're exploiting humans right now. And also, when you vote for veganism, you vote for humans, because factory farm workers are fucking crazy because they have to see this crap nonstop. And we're voting for it. We're saying, I want to enjoy my burger. I don't care if that guy goes home and beats his wife, because that's what he's going to do, because he's been seeing this shit all day. You know, so just think about all those peripheral things and how they all hail back to the root. And also, I'll leave you with this. There's a book called The World Peace Diet, which builds on what I just said. The World Peace Diet, written by Will Tuttle, will amplify 100% on how I responded to that. But you can learn from this guy. He's just a legend as far as his research and his purpose here on this world.
All right, thank you for this.
Cool, guys. Absolutely. Check out the cards. Owen, Clint, you guys have a great day. Stay cool. I'm getting ready to wrap up. I'm starting to sweat. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. Hi, guys. If you're just getting here. Oh, hey, are you going to be singing? Yes. I'm getting ready to wrap up. I'm getting ready to wrap up. So I'm going to let you go take over the space. It's a nice day for it, too. I'm going to move over here. You can totally get situated. Cool. Nice to see you. Okay. Thanks to everybody who stopped by the stream. We did get our third conversation. Can you see me? Okay, I can't really see anything, so I'm going to try to get down to the shade. Cool. Have a good one. James. James Chris, nice to meet you. We know each other now. All right, take care. Okay, so am I in my hour? I'm at about an hour, right, guys? Okay, it's been a pleasure hanging out with everybody here. It's been a pleasure, hopefully, bringing some awareness to the chat and getting people to critically think a little bit. I can't really see the messages, but I am at an hour, so I'm getting ready to roll. Yeah, so everybody, check out that interview with Gary Yourofsky on George's channel. Go to Jake Lagateri's channel, subscribe to him. Go to Haas Vegan, subscribe to him. Check out this book by Anthea V. Hayes called The Enigma of B12, Nature's Greatest Mistake. Pick it up. It's now on the Zon, Amazon. And you know, learn things, educate non-vegans, and learn what has to happen in order for you to get that food. Because I'm betting that you don't believe in it. I'm betting that you don't believe in that process. Yeah, that's why we're here, guys. And it's beautiful to be able to have this dynamic in 2025. I love you all. See you guys in the next stream. Saturday night, baby. All right, bye, guys.